Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Mike Levin, the Thunder on the right. Call him now, 877-381-3811.
We're here with Representative Elise Stefanik. Now, Elise Stefanik, you're the number 3 in leadership, is that correct?
I'm the House Republican Conference Chair, yes. I've been in that position since I defeated Liz Cheney for that leadership post.
If that is all you did in your career, you realize that would be enough. I'm not trying to understate the things that you're doing. I'm just saying that was big, that was important, and that set her off. She really kind of declined from there out, don't you think?
Well, I think so, and I think the voters and the people of Wyoming made a good decision when they supported Harriet Hageman. Harriet is also going to be on this select committee focused on the weaponization of federal government, and she's going to be an exceptional member. She has extensive work taking on federal government overreach in Wyoming and will just be a great member of this committee. She's already a friend and a colleague, and I look forward to working with her.
One other question on this. The January 6th committee, do you know if the Republicans now have those records, if they're going to go through them and so on? I'll tell you what, I have a little bone to pick here. Somehow they got 13 of my emails. I never gave them to them. They weren't subpoenaed. I wasn't given any kind of notice. Now, those emails really had nothing to do with anything. But I want to know how a committee of Congress got 13 of my emails without permission, and I'll bet I'm not alone.
Well, you're not alone, and I will tell you there is a process right now. We're talking, I think the document number is in the millions, and that transition from the Democrat majority to the Republican majority is taking place. If you remember, then Republican leader, now Speaker Kevin McCarthy, put out a public request that all documents must be maintained and turned over. That process is certainly happening, and our staff is going to go through all of those documents with a fine-tooth comb because there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And what's frustrating to me already, and it shows you the double standard and it underscores the importance of this select committee. Here you have these federal agencies providing any information at all, even not following the proper ways of getting it, turning it over to the Democrats on the January 6th committee, and yet now you have these same federal agencies stonewalling legitimate requests for congressional oversight purposes. So I think there's going to be bombshell reports that come out about how truly the January 6th committee was a political witch hunt and was part of the weaponization of the federal government.
Well, maybe they won't like a 10 or 20% cut in their budget over there at the FBI if they keep this up and move that money to the Border Patrol or something. You may have to try and do that, even though I know you're going to have trouble even with your own Republicans in the Senate. You're from a rural part of New York, upstate New York.
Yeah.
What are some of the towns in your district?
Well, I represent about a third of the state, and my district, I have over 200 towns, but some of the bigger areas are Plattsburgh, Glens Falls. I have
Woodstock?
Messina, Ogdensburg, Potsdam. I do not have Woodstock. That's more Hudson Valley. I start in the suburbs around the Capital District, and I go all the way up to the Canadian border. It's a big district, and interestingly for your listeners, it voted for Obama twice, voted for Trump twice as well. So it's a real bellwether district. I flipped the district in 2014, and at that time I was proud to be the youngest woman ever elected to Congress, and I'm now in my 5th term. And this is exciting to go into the Republican majority. It's the first time my district has had a seat at the leadership level, certainly in my lifetime, but going back a very, very long time.
And you've been attacked for this by the usual subjects, Harvard and the rest, as I recall, when you were last here, correct?
Yes, that's correct. But you know what? I wear it as a badge of honor. And it's interesting. I have been attacked. I've been attacked by the mainstream media, but usually when they viciously attack, I can tell that I'm onto something because people are very scared about the truth falling out. And I was most attacked during the unconstitutional impeachment proceedings. And my questions were fact-based, and I'm, very fact-based in how I go about my oversight responsibilities as a member of Congress, and I'm going to continue doing that. But most importantly, my constituents have overwhelmingly, I've earned their support, and they are very excited about the opportunity, and they're interested in this specific committee in addition to my other work. And I'll tell you, Mark, it's not just the national issues. There are examples of this weaponization of the federal government in every district across America. One example in my district that has a lot of regional coverage and is just starting to get national coverage is we unfortunately were the home of one of the deadliest vehicle crashes, a retrofitted limo that killed 20 people. These young upstate New Yorkers, families are still mourning. And the FBI has culpability because the owner of the limousine company was a longtime FBI informant. And it was based upon my oversight questions of Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, in an open hearing that forced the FBI to open up an investigation. Now, they have since said they're not turning that over to Congress, even though I caused them to open it. But I'm going to continue standing up for those families to get the transparency and accountability. So when we talk about oversight, it's not just the national issues, it impacts local families as well.
Boy, that's unbelievable. Let's try one here. Immigration, or the lack of legal immigration. We now hear that illegal immigrants are coming through Canada. And I guess they're coming through Canada and coming into your district, which is obviously massive in New York, no?
It's massive in New York, and I'll tell you, because of the southern border crisis, what's happened to the Border Patrol agents in my district is they've been transferred over and over again to the southern border, leaving, we don't have the resources that we need at our northern border. And it's been a long time issue. It's the top concern of these Border Patrol families. It's something that we have been very active on in my congressional office. And when we talk about every district being a border district, it's true, not only with the fentanyl overdoses that are skyrocketing across the country, but impacting the lack of resources we need on the northern border. So we will move a border security package in this House Republican majority. We've just gotten committees populated, but that's one of our top legislative agenda items.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time. You're welcome back, of course, and we appreciate your effort here. It's very, very crucial.
Thank you, Mark. I always love talking to you, and I look forward to your coverage of these committee hearings. It's going to be very important work this Congress.
If I show up at a few of them, is that okay, you think?
Yes, it's okay. We'd welcome. I hope all the American people tune in. It's important work.
All right. God bless. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mark.
There goes Representative Elise Stefan. She's a pistol. She is good. Don't you think, Mr. Producer? She pounds well. I thought she had been an assistant DA or something, but apparently not. How do you like that?